What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Mob Podcast. My name is Nick. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer, and joining me today via virtual reality, if you will, is Mr. Matt Sampson. Matt.
That's right. I'm coming here from King's Landing here, Nick.
That's right. That's right. Today, we're talking about the first two episodes, Matt, of a new series that just dropped on HBO Max, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
That's right.
Matt, why don't you give us a little background on this show, and start us off.
All right. So basically, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I believe it takes place about 100. Correct me, even if I'm wrong. In the comments. I believe it takes place about 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones, and it's a much smaller story on a much smaller scale. It's follows a tall, kind of like a tall, big, goofy oaf. His name is Dunk. He called himself Sir Duncan the Tall, and he's really just he's an orphan boy, you know what I mean? And he was raised by what he thought was a great knight, but it turns out he's kind of a loser too. Middle of nowhere, and
I mean,
I know what you're gonna say.
We'll get into that. We'll get into whether or not that guy was a loser. You know what I mean?
Screenshot of
Go ahead.
One, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, but basically it's pretty much his journey, just trying to kind of become a knight and kind of find his own way in the Westeros universe. And he's accompanied by his squire, which his name is Egg, because he's bald little boy. And it seems to be a cute little duo there. Nick, I don't know what you thought of the first two episodes, but I think that was pretty much the synopsis.
Yeah, no, it is. As far as you did as good of a job as anyone. But I will say, let's go in the first episode. We'll take it episode by episode here. That is the premise of the series. The first episode, we open up Sir Duncan the Tall's what's his name, or what's the guy, the knight that's he's squiring dies. And we open up with him and 3 horses, and he has to bury this guy, the knight. And at first glance, you would think that the guy that he's burying, is like this amazing guy. The way he talks about him. Yeah. He's this. He raised him because he's an orphan, so he raised him from a little kid. I really like the editing of the show. There's a lot, and I want to talk about this too. Not just the editing of the show, but the whole series is from the perspective of Sir Duncan the Tall. So far, the first 2 episodes anyway. So there's a lot of he'll mention something, and then there's a quick flashback to something that happened. The cool thing about that is that when we get into, and we'll jump around here a little bit, but when we get into episode 2, we see that this elderly gentleman is very well
endowed.
He's half man, half horse. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the upper half either. All right?
That was something to see.
Right, but if you think about it, it's from the perspective of Sir Duncan the Tall. So he grew up thinking that this guy is larger than life, And so I wonder if a lot of these flashbacks, Matt, are not embellished, but kind of like from the perspective of a kid,
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's kind of like, I don't know, when you're like a little kid, like you kind of have stars in your eyes when you see certain things, you know what I mean? And then as you get older, you start to realize, like he's starting to realize, it's not, kind of the way he looked at it as a kid. And like single person he's talked to has no idea who he is. It seems like he was kind of like a drunken bum, and I think he's starting to realize, he's not all, he thought he was.
I look at it from a couple different perspectives too, because apparently the guy, the knight, what's his name? Can you look that up? What's the guy's name? The old man.
What's a P? I want to say a pigeon. No. All right. Was it Knight of the Seven Kingdoms?
Yeah,
dude. He's hung like a horse, huh?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, not to get weird, but like when you're like.
No, that was.
I don't know. When you're a little kid, Matt, you've been playing sports and working out and stuff since you were a little kid, right?
That's right. Oh, Arlen of Pennytree.
Right, Arlen of Pennytree. So
That's
like
right.
when you're a little kid though, if you had to go to say like the YMCA to
Mhm.
go swimming or something else, or if you go to the gym when you're a kid and you walk into the locker room
Oh, dude.
and you're like everyone is, you know?
Oh,
Well, so this is
it's like
my point. If you were retelling one of those stories, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, dude, I saw this guy one time, it was crazy, blah blah blah." But then if you met him today, you'd go, "Oh, you're whatever, you're normal." You know?
yeah, yeah. I'm saying back then, like 50, and you exaggerate story like everyone exaggerates stories like, oh, 20 years ago, fucking 19 inches long. You know what I mean? Which and it might be big, but it's not 19 inches. You know?
Right. But if you're 6, you know?
Yeah, it might seem 19. You
Right,
know?
right, exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. So a lot of these stories that he tells in these flashbacks are probably, you know,
I like that.
very overblown, I would
Yeah.
say.
No, I like that too.
Um so yeah, but then you get into these games or whatever it is that he's
Mm.
playing,
Oh,
like the jousting,
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is. I will say in the first episode, the Baratheon guy is my favorite with the horns on the head.
Dude, I thought he stole the show in episode one.
What a cool guy. What a fun person.
Dude, the actor did a great job too. He really,
Fantastic.
yeah, no, he was my takeaway performance from episode one as well.
People are going to kill me in the comments for asking this, but what's the name of the actor from Ex Machina? He was in
The,
Dune as well. He plays the king, or like Timothy Chalamet's dad or whatever it is in
oh,
Dune.
Oscar Isaac.
Does he not look like that, the Baratheon guy? Does he not give that vibe, little Oscar
He's
Isaac vibe?
jet black, like curly hair, nice beard, nice jawline, kind of
Mhm.
aura. He's got aura. He's dripping aura. You know.
He is. Yeah, and he's like fun too, he's not.
He's like, let's get fucked up.
It's funny cuz in every Game of Thrones like series, I always end up loving the Baratheons the most. They're kind of my favorite,
Well, I feel like they're just down to
characters.
earth guys. You know what I mean? They're just kind of like cool guys who like to have a good time, but also if shit hits the fan, like they're ready to go.
Oh yeah, they'll kill you.
Yeah, they're kind of the good mix right there.
No, 100%. I totally agree with you. The Baratheons are really cool. I love that party where he makes them dance and they're dancing around and having a good time. And I feel
Yeah,
like, Sir Duncan the Tall has kind of grown up being made to feel smaller than he is.
he's tall.
He's tall, but he's been around this penny tree guy who's just been like, "You're an idiot, you're a big
Yeah,
oaf, stupid loser."
he's pretty much
And
just made his whole life.
exactly. And then he
Yeah,
shows up to this party and people are like, "No, just have a good time, dude. Like you're just here to dance, have a good time. It is what it
yeah,
is." And he's kind of, I don't want to say he's accepted right away, but he's definitely he's not treated like he's a complete idiot anymore.
dude, and that's why I don't know. I kind of the reason why I've liked this show so far is honestly because of him, the main character. And I think the actor does like a really good job of kind of having that like innocent kind of like persona. Like he's a big like he's so kid, but he doesn't really. I don't know. He's almost like a little kid, but like he means well, and he's goofy, and he's kind of awkward. And I think he's just a very likable character that wins over the audience, pretty quickly, in my opinion.
I forget if it was Band of Brothers or The Pacific. You've watched those, right?
I've seen not the Pacific. I've seen Band of Brothers.
Okay. Does Band of Brothers have the kid from West Point who shows up toward the end of the series? He's
Oh,
like a nerdy kid. He shows up. He's in the middle of war. Everybody is wearing clothing that hasn't been washed in years, feels like. And this kid from West Point shows up and he's, "Yes, sir, this is the way it's supposed to be, sir." And that
yeah,
kind of vibe. And not that Duncan is nerdy necessarily, but he's trying to be very respectful to all of these people.
yeah. They don't give a
And
fuck.
they don't give a shit. They're like, "What? This is the real world, kid. Welcome to the exactly. Welcome
Yeah,
to the real world."
right. Yeah, right with Sir Ireland.
Yeah, nothing that you think is the way things are is the way things are. Everything is upside down.
That's true.
And yeah, it's very true. It's very reflects reality, which I find interesting. But no,
Hmm.
I got that vibe. Like it's a kid that's been trained to be very respectful and nice and all that stuff,
Yeah,
and told he's a complete moron. And like in episode 2, when he goes to ask if he can be involved in these games, And then when he's leaving and stuff, he's walking back and forth. He can't find the
Yeah,
exit.
I
That
like
kind of
that.
shit.
Exactly.
I
Because that's some
love
shit
stuff
I
like
would do.
that.
That's some shit like I would like, dude. Like I'm like thinking of 90 different things. Like that's definitely something like I would do and be like, oh fuck,
Right. And like you can tell that he's trying not to look like a moron.
Yeah, and
Um,
he means well, and it's like you said at the beginning of this video. It's like you've been told one thing your entire life and like have one perception of the world, and then you go and actually experience it, and you kind of you can tell the pieces are starting to be put together. He's starting to figure out it's not what he thought he was, or it's not what he was told his whole life.
right. Right. How do we feel about Egg, our little co-star there?
I think he's all right. I'm not. I'm more of a Dunk fan. Dunk I would say is my favorite of the two. But Egg, he's got a funny guy. I guess every once in a while he kind of keeps him modest. I think
Yeah.
the kid does a pretty good job for being like a child actor. I'll say.
100% agree with you.
Yeah,
100% agree with you.
yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
I
hard.
think
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
I'll just say like when you're, I don't know, he probably gets the second most, or is going to end up with the second most screen time in the whole show, and for like a child actor, and to kind of hold your own and what I mean, not be looked at as kind of like, oh, it's, just a kid. Like, no, he held his own. I think it's respectable.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I like the character. I think it gives me like Pinky and the Brain vibes from back in the day.
Yeah,
You know, they're not trying to take over the whole world, but the kid is obviously, he was raised in a way where he's very intelligent,
mm.
um, and uh, kind of sees the world more like it actually is. Where I feel like Duncan has been kind of,
Yeah.
sheltered in a way. He's been trained, don't get me wrong. He's not an idiot, he's been told he's an idiot, but he's also spent the majority, if not all of his life with this old guy walking around the woods.
Arlen,
Right. And
big dick
they
Arlen.
haven't he hasn't really experienced any other personalities other than Captain Pennytree there,
Yeah, that's true.
which I find funny. So it's like, it's a great dynamic because this little kid is like,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
little
think you're an
sick.
idiot. Yeah, he's like, I don't think you're an idiot, but like you're wrong about everything.
Yeah, no, and I
Which
like
I
that.
think
And
is
like
funny.
one of my favorite dynamics, it's different but a little similar in Game of Thrones was you remember like the Hound and Arya, like their little dynamic.
Yes, yes,
Like that
100%
was
agree.
dude, like that was for however long they were together. Like every scene was fucking awesome. Just like the most unlikely duo, just like a big
Hmm.
brute. Obviously, personalities are different. A big brute and like a little kid, and like you think like the big brute is gonna like teach the little kid, but it's almost like more the other way around. Like the little kid like
It's
helps
true.
out the big brute and kind of shows him what's what. And no, honestly, it's just like easily likable. The show's pretty easy to get behind. It's not as complicated as House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones, and I kind of like that at this point and how everything has been the past few years with Westeros content. I kind of like that. It's a simpler story.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really nervous about this series. I wasn't like losing sleep over it. All right, I'll be fine. But I was nervous about this series because I'm like, oh God, another Game of Thrones. Do we
Yeah,
need another Game of Thrones series?
definitely not. But
And man, I got to tell you, I'm happy they did it again. They did something good.
Nick, I like it, dude, because it's well documented on this channel. Me, you, and RJ fucking hated House of the Dragon season 2.
Yeah, it was
So
wicked
when
bad.
this show was announced, and like I was honestly like wasn't planning on watching it. But then Eden, I was like, oh, you guys gonna review it? It's like fuck it, it's January. Like I'm shoveling, like I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, you got to
And
try. You got to give it a shot.
dude, and it made me realize, like, it just kind of reminded me because it's been like 2 years now, like how much I love the Game of Thrones universe. Like when it's like good
Hmm.
content, like just like the little shit. Oh, send the Raven, like just I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just such a cool world, and I don't know. It's cool to have like a quality show. It feels like back again.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Hmm.
It's getting a little nerve-wracking too. I'll say this: in the second episode, Sir Duncan the Tall,
Hmm.
he watches with Egg. They watch a jousting match,
Yep.
and he gets a little
PTSD.
scared,
Get some PTSD.
a little PTSD. And I think
Yeah.
he's starting to realize that's the first moment where he's starting to realize that maybe I think it's okay. So here's the thing. I think it's good to have the chivalrous kind of
Dude. Big
like
night.
learning, the lesson learning, right? That the guy taught him in the woods. How
Yeah.
to be a good knight, but it's really more like how to be respectful of like the higher command when you meet them, right?
Yeah.
And maybe he's learned how to fight and he's a big guy and he can throw his weight around. But I think based on the way that people react when he mentions the guy that taught him everything, he's like, what am I what is he wrong? He's questioning everything he's learned, you know? And if he starts to question everything he's learned, he's also going to start questioning, am I good enough? Am I a real knight?
Yeah.
Have I been trained well,
Point.
These are great qualities. This is the kind of stuff I talk about, whether it's on my show or this show. And I feel like I bring this stuff up all the time, but these are the things that make good characters to me.
Yeah.
You don't want, nobody likes a fucking know-it-all, right? They always suck. And so you
Real
have this character, you have this character who's learning from his squire, and the squire, Egg, is going to learn from Duncan. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's nice.
It is nice. It's good because everybody's flawed in their own way, right? So then,
Yep. Yeah.
but then on top of that, you have this moment. I really liked it. It stood out to me. You have this moment with those flashes of the dead guy, and he's wondering, like, has my entire life been wasted on some old idiot in the woods?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you that it comes back around that his training was worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think he's going to show out in the tournament.
Yeah, something good is going to happen in this series. The other thing I like about it, Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on it, but like, how do you feel about the length of the episodes?
Okay. So here's what I'll say for this show, not Game of Thrones, not House of the Dragon, for this specific show, I actually fuck with it.
I don't mind it.
I actually fuck with like the 40, 45 minutes. If it was like a big Game of Thrones, how you got like 20 different characters, a million different things going on, give me like an hour solid, an hour 10. But dude, it's really pretty much about one or two characters. Like I think the 40, 45 minutes is, I kind of love it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, it's great. I like it a lot. I think it's
You know?
needed,
Yeah.
in everything in the world of Game of Thrones and Westeros and everything else. It's like fucking hour and a half every week. There's 75 characters. You got to keep up with everything. You got to take notes during the show. It's too much. This is like, not only is it appointment television, but it's quality entertainment, quick hitter episodes. You're in, you're out.
Yeah. In and out. Hey, just a quick. Sometimes you don't want to be there all day messing around. Sometimes you just want to, just a quickie. You got things to do, places to be. You know what I mean? Let's make this
People to
match
see, hands to shake. You know what I mean?
things to stroke. But
That's right.
yeah. No, I'm interested to see. I'm not sure. I bet RJ would know how many episodes a season's going to be, because I bet it's not. I bet it's not going to be too long. I bet. Oh, let me look it up here.
Yeah, let's find that out. I think that would be good.
All right, episode list. Oh, here we go. IMDb. Yeah, so we got only 6.
Oh, no way.
Only 6, and then I think there's going to be a season 2. It looks like, and that might be it. I could be wrong.
I don't
but
mind
that's
it.
like right here. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I let whatever happened, Matt. Whatever happened to shows where they leave you wanting a little bit more. You know,
Dude, I feel over time, like everyone wants that like instant gratification, which like I understand. But like over time, like those are the shows that like, sit with you the most and like leave a good taste in your mouth. Because how a show ends, that's how you're gonna remember it for the rest of your life.
look at the Sopranos. People are still debating that.
Like Game of Thrones is my favorite show of all time, bro. And like everyone loved it. But dude, the first you talk about anybody with Game of Thrones, the first thing they say is, "Oh, fucking too bad they fucked up the ending."
It's
The
true.
first thing
You're
people
not
say.
wrong. You're not wrong.
No, there's definitely something that ending on a high note. So it looks like it's going to be 2 seasons here, 6 episodes each. If that's the story, like they're going to tell and they can do it at that time, cool with me. Tell the story the right way. Don't drag it out. Just tell it how it is.
That's what I want. I want to know the story of Duncan Egg, and I wouldn't even mind if they did this with like other characters throughout the universe.
That wouldn't be bad. You know, I would get behind
I
that.
like the fact, dude. I like the fact, like, okay, listen, Game of Thrones is very high society, high politics. It's up
Well,
here, like, you know what I mean. And you have to pay attention because everyone's out to get everybody else. And like, I get it. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong.
No, you miss
It's a
you miss
great
one
thing.
scene, like, you know, pivotal, you know?
Right, right. But then one episode sometimes it could be you don't
Oh,
even know what
huge.
you're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: I like this is like a story. These are like stories about people and characters that aren't like uber famous, over the top. Like it's just like a
Yeah.
good
Good dude.
story.
Yeah. No, I like it. That's why I like the 6 episodes. It's a smaller scale, and you can tell they're doing like the flashback shit, and they're kind of, you know, having a little more fun with the show. Like the cut scenes, they'll cut to him shitting, or like whatever. It knows it's not as serious, not as high stakes as Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, which I appreciate too. You know, it's a nice
What
change
is
of pace at a
what is the
medium.
point of what is the point of this series? Is it Sir Duncan playing in these games, or is there something else that's supposed to happen? Or
Here's the thing. I really have no fucking idea. Eden and RJ have both read the book because it's based off he did a book, like a side book, George R. R. Martin.
okay.
And I'm pretty sure he does something like special.
Hmm.
Um, so like people will like know he's like a well-known name in, you know, Westeros, like in the Game of Thrones universe, like, you know, Tales of Duncan Egg. But I really have no idea what he does.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I
no,
guess we're gonna find out.
I'm excited to find. That's why I'm like, I want to see what he does. I'll see what
I
happens.
know. I'm excited to find out too. Hey, listen, how'd you fare the storm? How'd you deal with that?
Fucking terrible, dude. I will say the only good thing is I called out of work yesterday and today.
Hmm.
So I've had 2 days off, but it's not even like 2 days off you can really enjoy. Like I've just been snow blowing and shoveling and shit, and it's just like feeling like a bum in the house. So yeah, so it's kind of been whatever. But dude, I guess we're supposed to get more snow Friday. They're saying potentially, maybe.
Here we go.
Well,
Here
I'm
we
gonna just
go.
drive to the Tobin Bridge, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, I'll meet you there in an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that's keeping me going is you know, when we all go, the movie mob goes and sees the Odyssey opening weekend. That's what,
Dude, I can't wait. I gotta tell you, I really can't wait.
opening weekend.
It's gonna be amazing.
Dude, that's gonna be literally like, dude, we did it right for Oppenheimer, bro. We gotta like run that back. We gotta do the same shit we did, which is just for Odyssey.
The only thing I would change is I want to bring someone with a camera to film. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we have content.
1000%. Dude, and after, dude, we should go out after too, so we can all talk about the movie. Like that's always my
Yeah.
favorite. Like get after and like do something.
The only reason we didn't with the Odyssey was because it got out. I mean, not the Odyssey, with
That
the
was a late night.
Oppenheimer.
It was a late
Yeah,
night.
we got out of there at like 11:30 at night, and
Yeah,
I'm
it was a late.
old. I was like, I'm going to
I
bed.
Me too. No, but bro, that's gonna be awesome. I feel like in the summer, you know, we got a decent slate coming up, so that'll be good. You know, get
Oh,
RJ back.
it's gonna be a big summer. Let me tell
Yeah,
you,
filming, you know, RJ back filming, you know, on the North Shore. So
it's gonna be good shit.
stuff ahead.
All
Good
right.
shit.
Well, it's a little bit of a wow. That's a little bit of a quick hitter, dude. Only
I like it though.
27.
I like it. And I feel like this show, you really don't need, you know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah, we're checking in.
yeah, we're just checking in. We like it. It's cutesy. You know what I mean? And you know, we talked about it with Eden and RJ, so it's fuck, I might as well review it. You know what I mean? We're snowed in. So
Yeah, exactly. We got nothing better to do, you know?
yeah, fuck, I might as well talk about it. We're watching it, you know?
I love it. I think it's great. Listen, stay safe and don't slip and fall.
Sure.
And I think it'll be great. I think we'll do these every week. We missed the first week. We did 2 at once, but I think every week works. You know, we'll pop in.
Dude, absolutely. Dude, and if we're doing a Zoom too, like, bro, literally we can do anytime. So yeah, I'll bang them out every week. I'm down.
That works for me, man. That works for me. All right. Stay humble, my friend, and we'll see you next week.
All right. God bless. God bless.